Hello and welcome to the battle scripting that will be before the big battle of this turn, because my walls are breached. My walls are breached. I thought this might happen now, but as far as the plans that I had, I have everything I was aiming to have for this battle. So it's going to be a big one, and I'm going to talk through the scripting. That's basically all I'm going to be here for. Yeah, so I cast Pale Riders, which gave me a few more extra horse undead riders. So let's talk about the battle, because that's basically everything that's happening here. I spent ages on this. So what I've got here, I've got 5 vampires here. These are the ones who are doing the assassinating. I've given them 1 blood slave each. Let's have a look, and they're basically just going to sit and cast Horde or Skeleton. So it's all like this. Some of the items vary differently with what I've given them, but they got 1 blood slave, and they're going to just cast Hordes of Skeletons twice, Reinvigoration, more Hordes of Skeletons, and then hopefully they'll be here for the main battle and do the same thing. So hopefully there'll be a flood of a horde of skeletons coming from this area. I don't have enough blood slaves. That's basically it. Up here I've got another 5 vampires. These guys are going to be the Sabbath Masters, like Dr. Quacksilver. He's up front. Soul Vortex, Horde of Skeletons. And they've also got some pretty nice items. Io Shield, and they've got some Vine Shields up there as well. I don't have enough Vine Shields for everyone, but I do have a concentration of Vine Shields up front. Like Wallen has a Vine Shield, and he also has a nice hat. So I'm basically dishing out all the items I can possibly dish out. Gundamar, he's also up front. Now I think the biggest threat, well, I mean, like, there are a lot of incredibly big threats. The main thing I'm concerned about is his flyers just coming in the back and killing everything. So that's why I have so many units in the back here, and that's why I have these 2 vampires back here. Also got Vine Shields, and they're just going to be armored up like no one's business. Let's try and find them. Makes it a little bit difficult to find some of these guys. So I'm just trying to find some of the vampires I threw in the back. Albert's one of them. He's got the Blood Soul armor. So it's Soul Vortex, Horde of Skeletons, and Cyber Slave. His job is to get hit by flyers, really. And as far as I'm concerned, being a slave is sufficient for that. I'm not really hoping his attack to do anything. I just want him to entangle flyers and with the Soul Vortex, and that's going to help out. Jeez. So yeah, so let's talk about some of the other spells I have got going. Radia, yeah, she gave me a few options. What did I do with her? Commune Master. I'm making a giant communion here, and I'll talk about that a bit. Personal regeneration, because that helps. That forces down to the Communion Slayers so they get to heal, which is so important to help keep the communion alive. I'm casting Relief. I think will be cast based on the communion, but I guess it might not be cast. I'm not entirely sure why it's red, but I think it'll be cast, and that's going to give a nice enchantment for fatigue, for everything that I have, and then Poison Clouds, hoping to just jam up the castle entrance with skeletons. I've got these guys here casting Gift of the Moon a few times, because that gives some wolves invulnerability. I'm not entirely quite sure what to expect from these wolves, but might as well give them some invulnerability. The thralls I'm just using as bodyguards for my communion. I'm actually concerned about them, because the biggest concern I have with the thralls is that they're going to bring hit points in the battle, which can help cause a rout. So I actually want to keep them out of harm's way. I've also got this guy Conrad. So he's going to do Communion Master, Earth Power, Curse of Stones. So this is going to give fatigue to all the enemy units. Hopefully, magic resistance negates easily, but hopefully it works. And then just iron darts, because I don't want him exhausting the communion with his earth spells. So yeah, and the earth power also filters down to the communion to help them regenerate power as well. That's where the curse of stones comes in. Jeez. Because on Black Templars they just guard the fountain. The fountain's actually not very buff, only 51 hit points, 22 protection, which is nice, 24 fear, which is brilliant. And it's got some slash resistance, pierce resistance, not bash, but jeez. Hoping not to get him attacked. So yeah, my communion's all here, my fountain's here, because I'm quite sure his flies will be on attack rear. So that's why these guys are in the rear, and then these guys are supposed to clog up the entrance to skeletons. There's a lot that can go wrong with this plan. A lot. Any kind of area of effect spells that he brings could just wipe out my communion. I should probably spread them around a little bit more, but this is the plan I'm going with. Because the flies. I know he has a lot of flies. I don't quite know what else he's going to bring to the battle. And straight up, I'm casting Darkness. I talked about this a lot. Level 4. Fatigue cost 400. How much is Rigor Mortis? Fatigue cost 100. I want Darkness first, but I also want Rigor Mortis down. Ooh, with Fatigue cost 400. Let me give him more gems to try and keep the Fatigue down. Just get them all in. Because the flies are going to be on me straight away. So I want the Darkness done as quickly as possible, because that'll help me deal with that. Rigor Mortis will be cast. You know what? I didn't notice the fatigue here cost was so high, and I'm not overcasting it much at all. This Rigor Mortis require 4 death. Darkness also costs 4 death, but just it shuts him down for so long as he regains that fatigue. The alternative is to make him a Sabbath Master to help keep his fatigue down. But if I make him a Sabbath Master, I'm taking a slave from someone else, and I'm going to do that. I'm actually going to take the Sabbath slave from Colossus because he has the stick, so that'll help him. So he can just do Hoarded Skeletons. Then I can take that, and then the first thing I do is become a Sabbath Master, and then Darkness, and then Rigor Mortis. And then Self Vortex, just in case they get closer than all the skeletons, and then just cast spells. This is, I guess it does delay the Darkness a little bit, but it'll give me at least an extra path in death, which will help me. Sure. I think I only have 2 vampire slaves, with 2 at the back, because they got personal regeneration. They can take damage, and so they can't be over fatigued. And yeah, I think that's the order that's going to be. Oh boy, what other kind of things am I doing? Just trying to remember. Oh yeah, I've got 2 astral guys up front, just casting Body Ethereal, hoping to get Ethereal on these guys up front. And then it's Iron Darts, Gift of the Moon, I think I said. I've got, let's have a look. Oh yeah, Flaming Arrows, Chillbird, it's in Flaming Arrows. which is just great. I hope that's going to be a rude surprise, because that was a gift from, I think it was Man. There's no way I could have made that item. I had like a level 3 nature guy, I think I referred to it a little bit earlier. Relief and then Poison Clouds. Let's talk about the Communion. I have 16 slaves and I have 23 masters. And you might be like, that's maybe a few 20 masters. And I'd say you're right. I'm very scared of the flyers, and I just want to get as many mind burdens out as fast as possible. And I don't really quite know how Rigor Mortis and Relief are going to affect the situation. I've also got Earth Power and Personal Regeneration going into the Communion. But what I've also done is on 8, I've counted this, on 8 of the Communion Masters, what I've actually done is Communion Master, Mind Burn, and then go Slave. So that's with 8 of them. So by the end of the situation, I will end up with 15 masters and 24 slaves. I think I can probably just do that. And then 6 will switch over from masters to slaves only. I should also note that some of the slaves only become slaves a little later, because they're casting things like Gift of the Moon first. But I really need to front up the damage output as fast as possible, because those flies, I'm really hoping they concentrate here. Like, I'm not optimistic. I'm sure Lucid's going to bring in all sorts of shenanigans. And even if I do win this battle, I've used up all my gems, basically, in this, and all my slaves. So if I do, I don't quite know how my life is going to extend past the situation, but I'm going to do my best to try and stay in here. And just all the range, a lot of ranges also just on top of the Communion. Oh boy, what was it done is, I think there's, oh yeah, of course I'm getting Lights of the Northern Star. It's just an obvious thing to do, so that's happening. But in order to cast it, I need to first cast, let me try and find the guy. It's quite obnoxious having to control this, but yeah, I chose the Death Guard, right? Because I only have 3 Astrals. I only have 3. So Power of the Spheres, Light of the Northern Star. And because he's cast Power of Spheres, he gets an extra death. So then he can cast all the skeletons. Just trying to get as many Horde Skeletons as I can out there. I'm thinking these bad guys can get another Horde Skeletons out before they become a Blood Slave. That's 40, 120, then slave. I'll be fine. It won't be fine. Because they're the only slaves, right? And then I want them to at least try and be around for the front guys to do it. Conrad. Soul Vortex, Horde Skeletons. Let's have a slave. It's going to be rough. I'm actually a bit concerned now because, yeah, no, I think I'll be fine. Because there won't be any slaves for the first round of Horde of Skeletons. Casting time 100%, casting time 100% for the first round, but there will be slaves in the second round, so I think they'll be okay. I'm thinking about the vampires right at the front. I think that's basically all I've got going. Like there's a lot that can go wrong. I've tried to pull out every trick in the book. I've got web as well programmed. I think one nature mage cast web up front as well. So In a perfect world, how I see these battles going, the flyers come in the back, there's a big fight, I survive, hopefully mostly through mind burns. The front gets clogged up by skeletons, and I fatigue his army out through the use of Curse of Stones and Rigor Mortis. And then somehow I win. Maybe with just an endless stream of mind burns. No doubt he's going to bring some magic as well. God knows what he's going to bring, but it's probably going to ruin me. I'm scared to think what he brings. And a lot depends on the assassination attempt, because that's my ace in the hole. It's a gamble. There's absolutely no two ways around it. I've got 5 vampires assassinating commanders, and and that will happen before the battle starts. So I'll get the assassination attempts in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a lot depends just on who they kill and what they lead in. If they take out both the Kings of Rain, then I think I have a very, very good chance of winning. If they take out other critical spellcasters, that might also be super important. If they just take out nothing useful or even die, I think I'm just screwed. So there's a huge probability just in terms of who they pick to fight. I think that's the biggest gamble in this, but I think I don't really have any other option. So yes, I should probably put these guys on defend castle, because otherwise they won't participate. Anybody who can hide. Oh my god, I nearly just need to make sure that everyone's on defend castle, right? You're supposed to be. No one should be on hide. Okay, I'm gonna make sure everyone's on hide, but I'm gonna end this video. Look, I'm going to watch the battle. I'll cast the battle while I watch it for the first time, so I won't know what happens. That's going to happen when I get the turn, which will not be in too long time, so I'm quite excited to see the battle. I'll probably die. I expect to not win, but here's some hope. Okay, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the big battle next turn. Okay, bye.